windows that can open are open.
Is that too loud?
It might be, I don't know.
I'll try that.
I know those ones are open already. This is on?
Yes, it's on.
All right. ACI 5 o'clock. Mama, please lead us. So keep your eyes closed for a moment here while we settle in, center ourselves. Watching your breath. What's a nice thing to do is doing the perfect 10 to help you start to become focused and present. The perfect 10 is you start on your exhale and you count every time you exhale. And then when you notice your mind is drifting off, you start again at the count of 1. So you try to make your way up to the count of 10, but most likely you won't get there. And that's fine. wanting to make a change in your life, in how you see your world, and most likely you would like to learn how to help others better. Think about your motivation for coming to a class like this. Why? Why are you here? And you rejoice. You rejoice in your reasons. Because you could be doing a million other things on a sunny Friday afternoon in the city, but you've chosen to come here. And then you slowly open your eyes. So, Katie, we are in class 8 today, so don't worry about not understanding. I mean, maybe you totally understand everything, but maybe not. So, don't worry about, there might be a lot of words that might be new to you, or maybe not. I don't know. But in any case, don't worry. So, we're talking today about ways where you can destroy all the good virtue that you've done, which is a good thing to know, I guess, because we've been learning about, how karma works and how to generate good karma. So it's important that we also know how we can completely mess it up, right? There's 2 collections. Who can tell me which collections are those? They're doing that. Yay! So, and what does that do? Do you know what the collection of merit gives you?
Merit gives you your Rupakaya. Sorry. And wisdom gives you your Dharmakaya. So it's your Rupakaya is your Buddha body, and Dharmakaya is your Buddha mind.
Yeah. So you have to lean towards one side to remember that?
Apparently. I was just pulling it from a little slot in the back of the memory library.
Hey, very good. Very good. Okay, so merit. Merit is related to the first perfections. There's 6 perfections, right? We have gone over those in previous classes. I'm sure we have, maybe previous courses. But other than Amanda, can anybody tell me what the 6 perfections are? Yeah. Give it a shot.
Kindness. Do you want them in order?
Order would be great, but it's okay. It's okay.
Stillness or concentration, wisdom, and generosity, kindness, morality. I'm missing number 3. Joyful effort, concentration, wisdom. Sorry, I'm missing one. Sorry, I didn't quite hear it.
She said giving, morality, joyful effort, wisdom, meditation, concentration, wisdom. Which one's missing?
Patience.
Good. Good. So the first 4, which are giving, morality, patience, and joyful effort, those relate to the collection of merit. That is going to shape your future form body as a Buddha. Okay. And then the last 2 perfections, which are meditative concentration and wisdom, they will be shaping your Buddha mind. And it says it took the Buddha 76,000 kalpas to complete these perfections. And the kalpa is a very long time. It's a measurement of time that I don't really relate to. It's like something like to the 60th power, which I believe means 60 zeros, which just means a very long time to me. Yeah. So it takes a while to perfect these, right? So in a collection of merit, you're accumulating a lot of good deeds. And in a collection of wisdom, you're accumulating your wisdom, right? And they're not like separate. You can work on them both in the same time, right? So the Rupakaya, the form body of a Buddha, consists out of 2 things. Would you know that by any chance?
The body.
Yeah, the form body of a Buddha.
Certain heaps.
No.
I don't know.
No. The paradise body and then the emanation body. So the body that the Buddha sits in is paradise, and then the bodies that you can send out. So it's countless of kalpas to accumulate these bodies. By collecting merit. And the Dharma, oh, I got the names there. Say Sunam Kitso. That's the collection of merit. And then the other one, Yeshe Kitso. The Yeshe Kitso is the Dharma body of the Buddha, Dharmakaya. And that's generated by your wisdom that you're accumulating, right? And you can divide this one into the emptiness of the Buddha, the Buddha nature. Your Buddha nature is your emptiness. And then the omniscience of Buddha.
The emptiness, is that the paradise body you're talking about?
No, because we're talking about the Dharma body
Oh,
right
the
now.
Dharma body.
Yeah. So the emptiness of the Buddha, you could say, is a negative thing, right? Because emptiness is a negative thing.
Yeah.
And then the omniscience would be a positive thing. It's the wisdom in the mind of a Buddha that understands emptiness. And when you've seen the direct perception of emptiness, when you are in the direct perception of emptiness, you're in a non-dualistic state, right? Everything collapses together. You've gone onto yourself. And you can't experience yourself seeing. There's no me to see. There's nothing to see. And when this happens, which takes so much virtue, they say in the moment that you see emptiness directly, you are, it's the same as 3 countless eons of good virtue in that moment. So that's a lot. So it's a big deal if you see emptiness directly. You've just gained so much virtue, it's ridiculous. And then when you see emptiness directly, you lose all the doubt, of the Buddhist path. You see Buddhas. And the main thing is that you no longer believe in self-existence. You know that everything you see is a result of your past deeds. You know it. Nobody can say something else to you. You would not believe it. Right? You know what you saw. So it's changed you forever, right? And then they say klesha by klesha, you make your way to becoming an arhat, right? Because you still have mental afflictions when you come down from seeing emptiness directly. But now you have this incredible wisdom that will cut through everything, and you can really go very fast from becoming an arya to becoming an arhat. So, the power of wisdom. It's like an atom bomb against your ignorance, right? So we're talking today about, we're trying to gather all this merit. So how can we wipe that all out? Which is not what we want to do, but how could somebody do that? Say ge sa chupa. Getsa chupa means destroying your root virtue, destroying your collection of merit. Okay. So losing the entire store of karma that we possess, which is related to the collection of merit. It is a little bit different again because we're in the Abhidharma school and the Mahayana people say a little bit something different, but we'll get there. So the first way to cut out your root of virtue is lokta. Say lokta? Lokta is thinking the complete opposite of how something exists. Lok means diametrically opposite. Ta is view.
It's wrong view.
Yeah, wrong view. So an effective lokta to wipe out your karma is to say that karma doesn't exist.
This is after DP, after direct perception.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's not. So basically, what this means is, so you've been studying a little Buddhism, trying it out for a while, understand the ideas, and then all of a sudden you just something shifts. And I've seen people like that, where all of a sudden you can't help it. It shifts, and you're just like, it's not true. None of it is true. Karma doesn't exist. Buddhas don't exist. I don't buy it at all anymore, right? So that's a requirement. You have to have some knowledge first in order to then say no, it's not true. Yeah. And this has to do with total rejection. It's fine to question, right? And we're always encouraged to question ideas, If you don't understand something right now about karma or about anything, it's fine to doubt it and think about it, meditate on it, ask your teacher questions, or shelf it and say, okay, right now I just don't get this, but I'm gonna get back to it later. You don't discard it, right? So that's the idea that in order to destroy this whole pile of virtue that you've collected, you must completely reject the whole thing. Okay? So it's not doubt or skepticism. That is the first way how you can destroy it. The second way is control. Say control. And this is anger. This one is not mentioned in the Abhidharma. This one's mentioned in the Mahayana scriptures from teachings by Shantideva and Chanda Kirtan. Anger. So in the scriptures they say you shouldn't get angry at a bodhisattva. That can that can wipe out all your good virtue. And one scripture says it doesn't matter if you know they're a bodhisattva or you don't know. Because there's something different about spitting on a person that walks by or spitting on Jesus, right? There's a difference. And I think the reason why it's so heavy is because these people, have decided that they are going to see emptiness directly. They are going to study and meditate, They are not focused on any worldly thing anymore. They're devoting all of their time and energy, effort onto reaching the goals. So these people are not normal people, They're very special. So they're in a high object. So if you get angry with them, you can wipe out your whole store virtue.
What kind of anger are you talking about then? Are you talking about like angry feelings arising in a person towards someone else and not being able to stop that, like the feelings, or are we talking about action, like shouting at someone?
I do think it refers to action. Yeah.
Yeah.
The ratio is 1 instant of anger to a bodhisattva cuts 1 kalpa of good deeds. Pretty crazy. And it's pretty crazy also because we don't know who is a bodhisattva, right? So I think the main lesson here is don't get angry, right? Don't get angry at people. Don't get angry at traffic. Don't get angry. Because anger it's ignorance, right? If I'm stuck in traffic and I'm angry with the traffic, then I don't understand where traffic comes from. If I understand where traffic comes from, I understand that it's my own past deeds that make this situation arise and make me feel a certain way. I I could just shut that down with that thought of understanding where it comes from. So when people piss you off, throw wisdom at it, right? And maybe some people would say, yeah, but if you're feeling angry, you shouldn't like stuff it down. That can't be good for you. Okay, that's fine. Then go to a room, remove yourself from all the people around you. Don't hurt anybody, right? Then just sit there and feel the anger. That's okay. But try to strip away the story because nobody is making you angry. You are making you angry. So you gotta take the responsibility for it, right? So I think that is the lesson here. Don't get angry. Don't get angry. And then actually in the scripture it says it's worse for a bodhisattva to be angry at another bodhisattva. But I don't even understand how that could be, because if you're a true bodhisattva, then your heart has been cracked open. You have seen emptiness directly.
What if you're a pretending one?
What if you're pretending bodhisattva?
Well, you say if you're a true bodhisattva, it means it's when you've reached it, when you've seen
I'm saying what the scripture says,
so
right?
if we haven't seen emptiness, then
then you're an aspiring bodhisattva.
You're aspiring.
Yeah, and then you're also very special, Amanda.
So you make it. Okay.
Then you're also very special because you're also working really hard and trying to see emptiness, right? So no, you shouldn't get angry. You just shouldn't get angry, right?
And before, sorry, I just have to ask a question. Before having awareness of Buddhism and before knowing about the scriptures and believing in this, does it mean that the anger that one was towards others is not as powerful? Or because you said it wipes out like a whole eon.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And to think about seeing emptiness in this life, and aspiring to that or the next life, then if you think about how you've wiped out like one eon by certain anger, I know I've had certain anger at people in my life, even when I've been practicing. So that
we all have.
Quite disheartening.
I know, but there's good news to follow too.
Okay,
Amanda, so don't worry.
I'm cheeky today.
No, it's fine. I understand. Especially. No, but don't be relieved, because we need to know this, right? We need to understand that anger is a very powerful thing and it's not helpful unless you have anger out of love, right? When my child would put her hand on the stove, I would yell in my loudest, meanest voice if I have to, but that's not the same, right? You would hurt someone, I don't know, in order to help them, by yelling at them out of love. So you can also be like a bodhisattva or a Buddha. You can appear very angry, but you're putting on a show, really, to help them, right? It's different. The motivation, right? What's in your heart when you do the anger. So don't get angry, people. So then the examples given of Buddha in one of his past lives. I don't know if this is a Buddha statue or someone who he saw as a Buddha. Actually, I don't know. That might be in the reading. But he was going around this Buddha and swore his devotion to this being. And then he was limping or hopping for a week on one leg to show he was serious, that he was so devoted, or something like this. And that cut off 1,000 cut off hundreds, countless of kalpas. So to shorten this time to become a Buddha. So there you can see that the opposite, when we do good deeds with a lot of devotion, with wisdom, we can do the opposite. Okay? The opposite can happen. And actually, when I was doing the reading yesterday, and this was very comforting to read, this little part. And I know like this. I'll read it. The elder Aniruddha spoke to the monks as follows. Venerable monks, I once took a birth in Varanasi as a poor man whose job it was to collect straw for use as fuel. The poor man made the traditional offerings of food to a self-made Buddha by the name of Tengesam, who was also known as the one with the top center part of his head protruding like a tucker flower. My one act of giving away these offerings to this self-made Buddha ripened into a birth as a pleasure being in the land of the 33. I was born there a total of 7 times, and then took another 7 births as the wheel emperor. And still it continues now with my present birth into the wealthier class of the Shakyas. So you see, this poor man offered something with a strong feeling of devotion, made an offering of something probably small, doesn't matter, right? It's in what's in your mind when you offer. And his next several lives turned out to be pretty awesome, which he relates to that specific deed. So if you think of it like that, then there's hope, right? So yes, we may have cut up kalpas by becoming angry in this life, but by doing good deeds with a sweet, pure motivation and devotion, kind of brought that back in balance. Homework question. The profile of a person who will do a lokta, a wrong view, right? According to Abhidharma. So they have to be a human being. Why do they have to be a human being? Because in hell, you're in so much pain, you can't focus on a thought for that long. Craving spirits are too focused on their craving, so they're not able to focus on the wrong view like that. Pleasure beings are too busy with being happy in the God realms, right? Which will run out. We've spoken about that. So it has to be a being who can think, right? Which is humans, which is us. And interesting enough, it also says in the scripture that it has to be someone where the sexual parts are functioning. So if you are someone who's cut off their balls, then you're not liable for this. I don't know. Because you can't, they say, because of the hormones, you can't think straight. Something like that. I don't know. And then the scripture says there's 2 types of people, intellectual types or sensual types. And the intellectual types are the one that would be committing this wrong view because they are able to think about stuff over and over and have, sustained and carefully thought and have that idea of rejection, right? They say the sensual types are more concerned about food, but they don't go into that. Okay. So, is that clear so far? We'll talk about how to restore your karma. So say there's different schools on how to restore it when you do something seriously damages getting a karmic result, says the Mahayana practitioner. And the Abhidharma people say it completely wipes it out. The bad seeds, right? Mahayana says it doesn't so much wipe them out or destroys them, but impairs the ability of the seed to get the result. Okay, so all you need to do basically what they're saying is, we can do bad deeds with a certain view and we mess up, but then we can also kind of temper with good deeds in order to fix it. So in this case of the wrong view, they say, so if you've completely rejected the idea of karma and Buddha's enlightenment, all of that, all you need to do is start to come back to your previous statement and say, well, okay, maybe there is such a thing as karma. Maybe good does lead to good. Maybe bad does lead to bad. Maybe there is a way, by acting a certain way, that you can become a Buddha. So instead of completely rejecting it, you're now starting to see possibility for it to exist, and that will restore it. And then you can go, like you're doubting your own previous position, right? Then you begin to restore and undo the bad karma, which says something about the power of wisdom, right? And then you can take it a step further and know with certainty that there is such a thing. And this generally refers to seeing emptiness directly, because then you know. No more doubt whatsoever, right? You lose doubt, you have no more doubt when you see emptiness. So I'm not quite sure how this process works because there's some different ideas. If you are inactivate the seeds by this new way of thinking, or you inactivated the seeds and now you're reactivating them, or you lose your connection and you reconnect with your stored version, something like that.
Would that be like a karmic actually of past deeds where you suddenly just don't believe something? You're practicing something and you just cut it off. That would be a karmic. Or is that just a thought, just a new thought that just comes in, or is that like a karmic thought from the past that's ripened?
Well, that's definitely what it is. Yeah, that's what it always is, really. Because everything you do will create your future thought. So when you have a future thought, that future thought is from your past deeds, right? Yeah. So we have to try to put the right seeds in so our future thoughts will be more pure in order to change our world, right? Yeah. Okay. Oh, and those ones are called Taitsim and Nyepa. So Taitsim is when you start to doubt your previous statement and think, okay, okay, well, maybe there is such a thing. And Nyepa is, I know for sure, there's such a thing as past and future lives, karma, enlightened beings. Let's have a couple minutes stretch and break, and then we move on to some divisions of karma. Tuan, what am I drinking here?
Ice cream tea.
Ice cream tea? And what's all the bits in it?
It's homemade Jello bits.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's very yummy. I've never had such a thing.
Yeah, it's at the Artisan Tea Bar on
Mm.
Fraser. It's just before Kingsway.
Oh, okay. Is that little funky strip?
Yeah, yeah. All that new building with all the stores.
I love that strip.
They're
That's where
really nice.
Amanda goes for a special bakery, right?
Oh, hers is on Kingsway.
Oh.
So if you go up Fraser a little bit.
Oh. Oh,
You know
okay.
where there's that church?
Yeah.
And then there's the Enterprise car rental place.
Okay.
And then up a little bit more. Or south a little bit.
That's where this one is. Okay. Nice.
Really high quality teas there. The guy's really nice.
Mm. Wow, very good.
East. It's on the east side of Fraser. You know where the Ganesh temple? Yeah, I think it's small. It's a small temple.
Which intersection?
Sorry? It's on Fraser.
Beyond Kingsway, right?
No, it's south of Kingsway.
Yep, okay, south. Before the hill? Before the hill?
Yeah, it's just like right before you ascend the hill.
I think I know.
Yeah.
Delicious, sounds great. But the tapioca pieces there.
Yeah, but these are all homemade. And they're really good. It's really good. Yeah.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
I'm friends though.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get back, people.
As soon as I go transit. Yeah, as soon as I saw him do that, I thought.
Before we move on, I'll just remember that I forgot to say one more thing. mm, about what we were just talking about. Who can tell me the 6 paths? Anybody? 6 paths. We've done them before. Anna? The 6 paths. Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
hang on. So it's the 6 paths of like the stages. Is it the stages that we go on?
Yeah. If I tell you the first one,
Yeah.
maybe you know. The first one's accumulation. Accumulation.
Accumulation?
Accumulation. So that's where you start first when you start to develop some renunciation. You start to understand that it's not working out, right? You're in pain, you're suffering, people around you are suffering, and you can start to have enough of that. You know, you want it to stop, you want something to change, and you start to collect virtue in order to learn more, right? Learn more ways how to get out. Like you need a lot of virtue to come to a class like this, because if you didn't, then there would be more than this amount of people here, right? It's like it's a rare thing. Very few people have the virtue to hear these kind of teachings, because you need a lot of it. So that's the first path, accumulation. What's the second one?
Renunciation?
No,
No?
renunciation is part of accumulation.
Oh, it's part of that.
Yeah. Oh, you're thinking renunciation, bodhicitta, and wisdom. No.
Yeah. No, I know what path you're talking about, but it's been a long time. You'll
Okay.
have to, yeah.
That's okay. So the first path is accumulation. Then the second path is the path of preparation. So on the path of preparation, these ones, they come in all the ACI courses. You'll hear them over and over again. So the second one is the path of preparation, which is here and now you're preparing to see emptiness directly, right? You are starting to get more and more, you're gaining more wisdom, you're studying more, you know. Maybe you're doing all your homework, so you're meditating, and you're starting to really want to get out of suffering. And you're preparing to have this big experience that will change everything for you, which is the direct perception of emptiness, which is the third path. So the path of accumulation and the path of preparation can take a very long time. Very long time. The path of seeing, which is the third path, is not long at all. We say anywhere between 50 seconds and 20 minutes. Yeah. So that's short. And then after that, you start to get used to what you saw, which is the path, fifth path, called
The fourth path.
oh, sorry, path of habituation, right? And the path of habituation is where you get used to what you saw, and basically what I mentioned earlier in class today is mental affliction by mental affliction. You start to wipe them out, and you are moving your way. They say there's 10 bhumis, 10 bodhisattva levels. You move from 1 to 10, and when you're 10, you are an arhat, right? Then you are in nirvana, right? Sorry, there's 5 paths. Maybe that's what threw you off. I said 6. And the last one is then no more learning, right? Then you're a Buddha.
Where did the boomies come in?
Path of habituation.
5.
Yeah.
Until the top one, then it's
So here's the good news. When at some point, somewhere between the path of accumulation and preparation, you've gained so much virtue that you can no longer cut that root virtue by doing one of those deeds we're talking about.
Between where? Sorry?
Accumulation and preparation. So somewhere in the first or second path, they say you can no longer do that. And also, you will not have any lower rebirths at that point. So that's a big deal. That's really good news. So that was the whole thing I forgot to say earlier. So we're talking about divisions of karma the rest of the class, and there are so many ways to divide karma. Geshe Michael Roche says if we go over all the ways to divide karma, we'll be here for 2 years. So today we're just going into these ones. Penjekile and Supjekile. So Penjekile means projecting karma. Penje is projecting, and Le is karma. So this is the karma that projects your next life. It determines, it's a karma that projects whether you will become a human, hungry girls, animal, etc. And this is not talking about the bardo. Actually, they say the bardo is considered part of your next life. And they say in the bardo, you are already taking on shape of what you will look like in your next life. It says your body's taking the shape of your next form. If you're going to be a hell being, in bardo you look like a charred piece of wood. Like that. The Abhidharma says that this karma projecting your next life is only one karma. Other schools don't agree with that. You know, Abhidharma says that you go through your life, and the karma that at the time of your death is the strongest, that is the one that will shoot you to your next life. So if you are, I don't know, in the other schools they say, no, it's like a compilation of kind of everything that you're doing, right? So it's different. It's different. So the other schools don't agree with that. So the other, yeah. Say like if you've been stingy and craving your whole life, then you'll be craving spirit your next life. When I was preparing for this, you know, I was thinking about when I lived in Holland. I did some social work. I did college for social work, and one of the places where I worked for a little while was a place of mentally challenged people, and I would go in and help out. I can't even remember, doing crafts or something with them, and there was one person there who was a man in a suit, and he used to be a successful businessman. He had a family too, and he was a big smoker. And he got into an accident, a car accident of some sort, and so now he was living in this place, and all he said all day long was, "When can I have my next cigarette?" That's all he thought about. That's all he said. You cannot have a conversation with him about anything, only about the cigarette. That's all that was on his mind. Okay, so this looks like, you know, in his life before he had that accident, he had a lot of smoking on his mind, right? He was busy with running a business or whatever, but he was always concerned about being able to smoke to, I don't know, keep sane or something, right? So this made all these mental imprints in his mind, and now it flopped over into, you know, this is all he can think about. This is become his world. So imagine if he or anybody would spend all those years of his life worrying about cigarettes, worrying about how to become enlightened, worrying about seeing emptiness directly, worrying about being kind to people and helping them all the time. Now, you see what I mean? Like, that will make all the imprints, and that will flop over into your next life as being a certain way, right? Yeah.
So there's two schools of thought. There's one which is like an accumulation of all of the imprints from your life will then, when you die, will say what life you're going into next. And then you said is it the Abhidharma was saying that the karma that goes off just as you die.
Yeah.
But how do you know what about, can you speak more about that karma? Like how, if it's, because you could have been good like for a majority of your life and doing great things, but then,
I think that's why the other schools don't agree with that.
yeah,
Yeah. So they say whatever stands out most in your mind as you die. You know, which is a helpful way of thinking because, you know, you can accept that and say, okay, so I'm just going to try to think about really virtuous things all my life, and that will be the one that will flop me over, right?
yes.
So it's even though Mahayana doesn't agree with it, doesn't mean it's not, you know, it can be helpful, it can be useful to think like that, right?
So I'm going to be sort of devil's advocate here because my mind is kind of racing
Mm-hmm.
with thought, and my thought is, I mean, it's not like anyone can take a stethoscope and put it up to a coffin and say, hey, what's it like on the other side, and have this like communication going, right?
Mm-hmm.
On what happens, you know, when it's cut, it's just cut, and you know, really we don't, as human beings, in my perspective, I mean, we can think, we can, you know, practice thought and come up, you know, with these great. My question is who actually comes? I mean, it's a debate that's done, and then in this debate, people come up with this scenario, or thought that this what happens at the last woman's death. I'm confused, actually.
Well,
How
it's
that comes
written
about.
by, or it's taught by Lord Buddha, right? It's written down by enlightened beings, by high teachers, and they say that, you know, Lord Buddha taught different schools in order to help people at different levels where they are at. And for some people, the idea of Abhidharma Kosha would be very, would function very well for them. For other people that have maybe a slightly higher intellect, I don't know, I couldn't say for sure. They have a different teaching on, right? And then, you know, you have the chance to sit with that and meditate on it and figure it out for yourself, you know. It's fine to not fully buy into it.
Well, I think it's healthy to question.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not going to stop questioning, but I just question how, you know, how anything past. I completely understand karma and the reason of it and how your mind works and all that. But anything past that, I find really.
But see, nothing is past that.
No, true.
Everything is included in that. And as far as, you know, we just did a whole course on past and future lives. So maybe that would be helpful to revisit some of the ideas about the proofs of proving past and future lives. But that's not the class today.
Yeah,
No, it's great if you question. It's good. It's good. Think about it, and you can always ask me more questions, and we can talk about it. Okay, so that was the projecting karma. Then there's the thing that is called finishing karma. Sokjik. And that is the details. So you can think of the projecting karma. They're giving the example of like a Tanka painter, like the master painter paints the outline, and then all the students fill in the painting. Okay, so the finishing karma would be all the little details, like if you're going to be poor, handsome, or rich, or whatever, right? All those things. And that idea is accepted by Mahayana. So these are smaller karmas of lesser effect. Okay, the last little bit is we're talking about projecting and finishing karma. So you can have a good projecting karma.
Sorry, what was that?
You can have a good projecting karma and a bad finishing karma. You can have a good projecting karma and a good finishing karma. You can have a bad projecting karma and a bad finishing karma. You can have a bad bad projecting karma and a good finishing karma, right? So we have all these options. And they say like a good projecting karma would be being born as a human, right? Human and up. Gods would be also good birth. Bad birth would be what? Tell me. Bad birth. Animal. What else?
Hungry spirits.
Hungry gods. Yeah.
Craving spirits.
Yeah. One more.
Well-being.
Hell being. Yeah. So those would be bad births. So they're saying mushimusum, which is a way that using the debate ground, apparently the little kids, when they don't know what to debate about, they say mushimusum of this or that. Give me the 4 permutations of, in this case, projecting and finishing karma. So who wants to try to give me a good projecting karma with a good finishing karma?
A human that becomes an Arya?
Yeah, totally. Human that becomes an Arya. So it's a good birth and a good finishing, right? Give me a good projecting karma and a bad finishing karma. Anybody?
A human who is not able to perceive the right view.
Yeah, yeah. Which means suffering, right? They're suffering. So you have a good birth, but you experience suffering because of ignorance. Yeah, very good. Then we have a bad projecting karma and a good finishing karma.
You told a story about, was it a bird that kept circling the stupa?
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
is likely going to be born as a human.
yeah, yeah. So a bad birth is an animal, but the good finishing karma would be that they're doing some virtuous deeds, right?
I saw a online video, a cat living in South Korea, living in a temple,
Oh,
and that cat follows the head abbot and portrait and doesn't eat meat, and I guess
that would be a
That's
perfect
yeah.
example. That's
and
really
even when people feed him the meat, he doesn't. He just go away.
wow. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, so that cat will have a good rebirth after
Yeah.
this one for sure. And it probably, I mean, you could look at it many ways. It probably is already an enlightened being and just teaching people, or you could say maybe it was a high Buddhist practitioner who made some fatal mistake that sent them lower, but yet their virtue was still good enough for them to have a good life living in a temple, something like that. I mean, there's many ways you could look at that, but in any case, that's beautiful. I like that a lot. Yeah. Bad projecting with bad finishing.
In the hell realm.
Yeah, in the hell realm.
Okay, we're in the hell realm, and with how do you get yourself out of the hell realm? Goodness me, even if you have, let's say you were born in the hell realm, and how would you even be able to perceive a right view with all that, to even get there? I mean, I'm changing things. You won't have the right view for sure. It'll be separate.
Yeah.
So that's what I guess that's the question. Response? The answer? Yes?
Could be, yeah.
Could be?
Mhm.
And I have another question after that.
Some other examples that they give in scripture is bad projecting would be someone in a hell realm, but the good finishing karma would be that they're how do you call it the gatekeeper of hell, who as far as all the beings go in hell, they got it pretty good because they got to stand at the gates of hell and make decisions for other people, something like that. Another one they give an example is the Nagas. Nagas is these snake-like creatures, right? They are born in, as half animal type being, but they're said to have a lot of knowledge. They're possessing a lot of scriptures, and that's why Arya Nagarjuna, he would go to visit the Nagas. That's why he has that name, to learn scriptures from them. So that would be bad with good. Let's see. I think we covered. Yeah. What was your question?
I'm just thinking, what if a person is so, if they have such bad projecting and bad finishing karma, that they're suffering, how would they even be able to comprehend anything that would help them get the slightest it's always possible then to have the perception of the right view. Then it's always possible to be able to even when falling to the lowest level, it's able, regardless of your suffering, it is possible to be able to redeem.
Yeah.
Is that so?
Mm-hmm.
That it would be so hard. If you push yourself down that, it's going to be so hard.
It would be really hard. Yeah. It would be really hard. Yeah.
What, to interrupt, people like that have murdered or are in jail and then suddenly somehow found
I would think that one of the ways that I can think about it is that they must have done good virtue before that might allow them to have a moment of virtue even in hell, that something just ripened, and that might be the wheel where they can slowly make their way out. It must be from something before, right? Otherwise, you just keep on cycling in your own hell, So it must be like that. I think. I could be wrong. Yeah.
Is there, where in the teachings, or is it in the teachings as to when you had to take a lower rebirth than human, like instances of how you get out of that? Like, is that, I mean, you're saying that like they must have a moment of virtue, but we'd have to be pretty horrible in our human life to be reborn into a lower life
Well, in the end, everybody will reach enlightenment, right? Might just take longer.
It'll just take a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can't think as a fly, for example.
Yeah, so we've given examples like that, um, like Turnjit mentioned earlier, flying around in a temple, and somehow this makes an imprint of virtue, you know,
Right.
in the mind. Or I'm thinking of often when I have a spider or an ant or something in my house, I will take a piece of scripture, and that's how I will scoop them out of my house, right? So then they are exposed to that and to have a moment like that, you know. So
That is cool.
yeah.
We're gonna go out and do that now. So, if one can one do rites for to assist the dying creature at its passing? Let's say there's an animal dying, we try to put everything in place for ourselves and others. At that time, are we able to assist a dying creature? I'm just wondering about a dying. Is there a way we could assist? I don't know much. I don't know anything, right? But there, I understand you can assist with certain rights. I know it's oneself, but people assist around. Is there? I'm just.
In order to help them for their
Let's
next
say
life.
one has a very elderly cat that's passing,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to help it.
Yeah.
Going to a bardo, I presume the bardo at that point.
Mm.
Someone wants to help it, help that creature.
Yeah, I mean, I think as we can first of all, you know,
As you were helping with the scripture,
yeah.
with the,
I mean, you can do a similar thing. You can read scripture. I mean, there's definitely ways. Lama John would be able to tell you about that. He's done a lot of, well, not a lot, but I know he has done um, certain practices when people were dying or have died. I don't really know much about it, so you should ask him. But in any case, I mean, whatever's on your mind is creating your world. So if you can bring this creature any kind of, you know, beautiful words through your love, and you know, anything will help in that sense. Nothing bad can come from wishing them to have a higher rebirth, right? Any words that is but as far as like more types of ceremonies or something, I don't know much about that, but you can ask Lama Jan. I know when his mom was dying, he was meditating beside her for long, long times, and I don't really know much about the practices like that, but there's definitely stuff out there that you should ask him. So that was class.
thank you.
Today was the last class.
No, we have 2 more classes.
Okay.
2 more.
Super tired today. Sorry, that's what you're seeing.
No, this was class 8, so we have still 9 and 10, and then that would be done. Yeah. So thank you for hanging in there. So we'll close with prayers. Just a little announcement. Tomorrow is the Buddhist festival. It's a free festival in UBC at the Thunderbird Stadium. So if you have nothing to do, you should come out there.
Yes.
Buddhist festival.
What time? Congratulations.
9:30 till 6:30, I think. Yeah. And I have a little booth there. They asked me to expose some of my art. So we'll see how that goes. But I think it'll be fun. Yeah.
Must be big. It's huge.
Whereabouts is it at UBC then?
Well,
It's right when you go up the main boulevard
Yeah.
on the left hand side near the hospital.
it's a big
Yeah, the
stadium,
buses,
but they
yeah.
say it's an indoor event, so I'm
Yeah.
confused.
Sorry?
The address.
They say it's an indoor
It is
event.
indoor.
But
Then
isn't the stadium outside?
it's
like-
an outside stadium, but there's an inside stadium.
There is?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Or maybe they cover it. No, there's an
Because I
definitely
was there
inside stadium.
once and it was a yoga festival of some kind, but that was inside
Yeah.
the stadium, but
Yeah.
it was open, there was sky. So
Maybe they have a top that goes
Yeah.
over.
I've been there twice and it's been covered both times.
They'd have to. in
oh, it's
Vancouver.
covered. They
Yeah.
covered the top.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think they have an outdoor one as well, and then they have like a coliseum type one. That's where I've been twice.
Westbrook Mall it's called, I think, the
Yeah,
street.
main drag, yeah.
It's a whole community out there in that area.
Yeah, you're familiar with it because she got
It's
married
a
near
big community.
there. So I think
What,
it'll
Buddhist
be fun.
community?
There's a temple there.
Out by the UBC,
Okay.
it's a community. It's like a town, to be
Oh,
honest with you. On the outside there is, I believe. Yeah, there's a fire station. There's a community. There's a daycare facility.
Yeah.
There's a school. I went there out there. Brand new, beautiful school.
Yeah.
Beautiful area.
Yeah, I hope it'll be successful. They've never done it before, so they don't know much. Any questions I ask, they say, "Well, we don't know. Just bring all your stuff because we won't have anything. We might not have tables, and we don't know. It's the first time, so everything is kind of I don't know."
Oh, that's so sweet. Is the
Yeah.
Frangu Monastery in Richmond? I don't think I said that right.
I thought it was near there, but I
They're the
could be wrong.
organisers though, right?
Yeah, I thought it was near UBC, their
The
monastery, but I could be
stadium
wrong.
is in UBC.
Yeah, the stadium's at UBC, but the people that put it on,
Okay.
Do you know the name of the road? Is it Discovery or is it
Westbrook Mall, I think.
West? Okay, so that is in the.
If you take the bus there to UBC, you can't miss it. You have to
Yeah,
have a good stadium to get off there.
I think you turn right and then the